Hey, welcome in if you're here. If you're here now, we're going to give it a couple of minutes before we get started. Hey, welcome in. We're going to give it just a couple more minutes for everybody to join in. All right, welcome in today. If you've followed me before and you've been in some of my lives, you'll know that I do a lot of AI automations and automations in particular for Amazon sellers, TikTok shop sellers. Today, I was planning on doing a live for uh, leads and doing lead generation. So some of the tools that we use are N8N. I do use a lot of AI automation in creating using AI and creating workflows that have AI automation included, but some of them do not. So, if you're following along here on TikTok or one of the social media channels, if you want to switch over to a full screen, you actually can see my full screen then instead of just a little snippet. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. I cannot see all of the chats, but feel free to ask any questions, especially if you're joining us on Restream. So today, what I wanted to work on is building a lead gen automation. If you've joined me before, you do know that it is not that when I'm going live, everything doesn't get done right away, right? So I do multiple lives to finish them up. Sometimes I have to wait or ask questions or answer questions from you. So building out a lead gen, I was thinking for my agency itself and putting together a lead gen for the agency. But what this is good for is also Amazon brands or sellers and TikTok shop sellers, because if you, or D2C in particular, if you have your client or customer information, you can do the same process or use the same process to offer deals to them, to offer coupons if you're launching new products, just staying in contact with them and being in front of them the entire time, because a lot of the workflows that we use are in Go High Level. And Go High Level is a CRM that can be used by e-commerce brands. So you'll find that a lot of what we can do and put together actually helps with Go High Level and AI automations. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to be going through. Actually, what I'd like to do first is go through some of the automations that we put together previously and then open up for the automations that we're going to do in the lead gen automation side. So let's just review some of the stuff that we've done before. All right. So you'll actually be able to see these automations and get them at no cost on our website. It is, let me fix this share. There we go. All right. So you'll actually be able to get these automations on our website. If you go to the link is actually down pinned there, but if you go to free tools, you can actually use these tools. And I'm running them right through N8N. So I actually build them and run them right through N8N. I post them on my website. I use both Base 44, I think, is what I use for this one. I'd use Replit as well to build out these automations, but you can see that you upload your bulk document. You can get Bid Optimizer, set up the parameters or configuration that you want, and you can set these up in your own business. So if you ever wanted to do what I'm doing right now, you actually can set these up right in your own business. If you follow along with me and follow these live streams, you can absolutely do these on your own, and you can come up with whatever you want, right? And your team can use them. So we've done on the back end. Let's actually look at that Bid Optimizer. We actually did on the back end a Bid Optimizer in one of our previous streams. So let's just walk through this real fast. We set up a webhook which downloads the file because you have to upload the file. Depending on whether it's a sponsored brand, sponsored product, or sponsored display, you can set up it extracts it from the sheet directly. And then these are just JavaScript, right? You can use Python or JavaScript inside of N8N. And I have no idea how to code, but you know what does? AI knows how to code. So I add my AI and I use a ton of Claude Code, or ChatGPT helps. And Gemini 3 just launched yesterday, which is showing some really, really good numbers in the coding side. So like I said, I don't even know how to do it. I just asked ChatGPT. I'm like, this is what I want to have happen. This is what the input looks like. So this is what the bulk form looks like. I need to have it set out, and I need the data extracted. And then this is what I need as an output. And it goes through and it creates these for me. With just a couple of tests, I can have something up and running in 10, 15 minutes. So that's what we did previously is actually created one of these free tools. If you do want the free tools, again, they are available to you at zonflip.com/free tools. You can actually use them as zonflip.com/free tools. It's free for you. You will get a pop-up if you want to join our email list for when we deliver more free tools. You'll be on our email list, but just hit the X and you can use them right away. So free tools are available for you. You'll also see some documents and resources that we add that we use internally. You can use those as well. So let's hop right in, actually. I did not review or do anything previous to this, to get prepared for this, because I wanted to stumble through this just like you would stumble through this, where you will, give me just one second. Yeah, so I wanted to stumble through this just like you would, and just like I do every day when I'm building out these automations, because it's okay. I don't know everything, and I'm sure there's people on here that actually know a lot more than I do. And if you do, please chime in, let me know. Happy to hear what some of the things you're doing are. Want to make sure that I'm doing the right things, or maybe there's an easier or better way to do it. Happy to hear anything that you have to say. Just drop in the chat. I do get chat from Restream and YouTube. So those are the two I get chat from. Everything else, you need to be on Restream or on YouTube. So I do. Let's start. So what I wanted to do is, what I was thinking is to put together a top of funnel where I get cold emails, and put those into the top of funnel and have AI start and follow through. So the very first thing that I think about when I'm building any type of workflow is, where is the data coming from? What data do I want, and where is it coming from? So I remember for lead gen specifically, or if you're an Amazon seller, Amazon brand, maybe you want to target an email list and bring them over to you from a competitor. Maybe you've purchased an email list. Maybe there's email lists out there with your target audience. But for me, as an agency, I really want Amazon sellers, right? Or TikTok shop sellers. I want Amazon sellers. So there are a lot of products out there that can put top of funnel. Apollo.io. There's just a ton out there that have this information for you for top of funnel. I think SaaS products are really good for this conversation as well. So some of that I think about are if you sell a SaaS product or you're an agency, getting lead lists or cold prospect lists. So I do remember back in the day, I purchased this list from go.myleadfox.com. And one of the things that I owe, and I'm sorry if your name is on here, there's 10 million leads on this. Sorry if you're on here, but you're probably going to get an email from me soon. But I did look into this a little bit further. And one of the things I always like to look for is having API access, right? And I saw that this product has API access and it has an API key. So I always look into the documentation. I'm like, hey, can I use this? So it looks like I can at this point use this. I'm not sure. Look, get domain data, I suppose. The endpoint allows you to get domain data. Let's actually just run it inside of here. So from this, we're actually going to use a post command. Let's start by building this. We're just going to do a manual trigger. We're going to do an HTTPS node request. I always like to name my nodes. One of the easy things that you can do is you can actually just copy this curl and you can import the curl here with the information, and voila. So it automatically makes this node a post request, the URL. We're going to need the authentication. It looks like it did the authentication. I can just copy my key here. I'm going to do this off screen. And we'll hit save. All right. So now we are back in. We set up that node. I am not sure if it even works. So I'm not sure what even has to be requested if we review the API documentation. Look here, API domain text, a domain for which you want to get data. Okay, so this gets data from a domain. Let's do a test run. It looked like it was purple.com. So execute. All right, so now let's go look and see what it did. Looks like purple.com. Description, emails. Oh, wow, that's great. So it looks like we'll be able to build a workflow around pulling emails from specific domains. Looks like we can get LinkedIn information, YouTube channels, followers, all that fun stuff. So looks like it'll scrape the domain itself. So we're actually going to have to get the data from somewhere else. So I know MyLeadFox allows me to download data. So let's just run a quick search and see what the output looks like. So let's see here. Let's do beauty fitness. Let's make sure they're in the United States. Keywords. Don't want to show blank emails. We can exclude blank emails, so that's good on this search. It looks like we can I don't really think I want a platform per se. So let's just run this search. All right, so the 1 to 100 got emails by, okay, all right, good list, good. So let's just enrich this page because they allow you to enrich it. Again, you can use Apollo or something else to create your lead list. I'm just creating the lead list now for this. So it is enriching the list, and I will export it and see. So now we're going to actually have to change up our, since I'm not going to be able to get a post request because it's domain data with the API access, So it looks like it's only domain data that's going to come through on this API. It's not actually searching their database. I was hoping it was. And I could just pull the information daily and get it automatic. I may have to set up something separate to get this data, or maybe have the VA just go in and request the data. I know Apollo has API connects that you can pull from. So let's just finish up that. So we're going to need to bring in, well, go ahead and delete that node. We're going to create a form. So we want a form created to for this workflow. Let's name this workflow, because there's obviously going to be a so we're actually going to choose the N8N form just to be able to test this, and we're going to want to import a file into it. So form element is going to be data. I'll just do data. It's going to be probably a file. So it's going to be all file types. So we'll have that be the data coming in. And we don't know what the data looks like yet because we haven't exported this data out yet. So still waiting on that data. So the data is going to come in. Let's think about through this workflow and what we're actually going to do. So the data is going to come in. It's going to look a certain way. It's probably going to be in a CSV form when I export it, and everything's going to need to be mapped, right? So I know for sure it's going to be a name. It's going to be an email address. It's going to be a business name, and maybe a website, right? So the next thing that I want to think about is making sure that the data is crisp and it's good data. So the next thing is let's make sure the website works, right? What's the point of reaching out to DTC if the website doesn't work? So one of the tools I like a lot is Perplexity in here to review the website and give me feedback on the website. I know Gemini just came out with a great Model 3, so we could use Gemini possibly to go there. But Perplexity is a really good tool inside of N8N for website scrubbing, right? So let's set this up where we're just going to do Sonar. We're going to try to do the least expensive model that we have that's available, right? Because it's just going to be a quick, is it available? Is the website active, right? And it's going to be basically a yes or a no. So one of the things I like to do too is use the most inexpensive model. We could actually use ChatGPT for this, but for also looking at the website and making sure it works. So let's actually just do this. What model of LLM out of all available would be the easiest and least expensive to use in confirming a website is active? And I'm thinking back as well how my LeadFox could be a really good resource for. All right, sometimes. This is assuming you have your model set up already. You have the logins and the API keys set up within N8N. All right, so let's just look at this real quick. I mean, even something like a GPT 3.5 Turbo, where the input is 50 cents and output's 150 per million tokens. So the way that you kind of look at this table, the way that you kind of look at this table is this is me sending a request into them per 1 million tokens. A request like this might be something like 3,000 to 5,000 tokens. So, I mean, it's really pennies, right? And maybe not even pennies. And then the output is their response, right? So their output, if they're outputting images or they're outputting videos or they're outputting something, that's how much they're actually outputting for us. So right now, like 4 not mini is 15 cents, 10 cents for nano. That's probably GPT 4.5. That can't be right. $75. So I may just let's do 4.1 nano and see if it will do it, and then let's see what Perplexity says. So let's go in. Let's add a node. We're going to do 4 not nano. Just message a model. I'm not even 100% if they will analyze. So these are all that are available. See mini. I don't see nano on the list anymore, and they might have gotten rid of it. So 1.5 flash, very cheap, is 7.5 cents. Perplexity is only 20 cents for Sonar Small. Let's see what 4 not nano. So 15 cents. So actually, let's just use, we'll try Gemini 1.5 flash for this. So no Perplexity. Let's see if this works. Message a model, sure. Let's make sure that's available. It doesn't look like it's available anymore. Okay. No big deal. Let's go back and see what model, because again, we want to choose just the most inexpensive model, because there's no reason to spend a lot of tokens for something that is expensive, right? So 4.1 nano. Okay, so let's use 4.1 nano AI. Now we could set up, we could actually set up a AI agent for this, and we might do that down the line. Let's stick with doing this right now, and I'll tell you the differences in a bit. All right, 4.1 nano, perfect. Text user prompt. We're only going to send one message to them. And one of the things I like to do is have ChatGPT make a prompt for me. I use Claude for this too, but so say make a prompt. You're an automated URL status agent. Keep it simple. Send an HTTP request. Input URL. Perfect. So just a very simple prompt. We'll do that. The URL is actually going to come from the file, so we can't map that out yet. So we're just going to leave that blank. And yes or no. And let's go back to my lead fox. Your plan daily limit. Upgrade now. No thanks. All right, so we're going to go back and pull some data. Beauty and fitness, United States, exclude blank emails. All right, and then we need to export this list. So let me make this bigger. So we're just going to do 100 right now. So let's download the current page. Like I said, it did come back as a CSV, so that's good. Perfect. So let's go back in, and we are going to I got the CSV file, and we're going to execute workflow. Oh, we got to put a title. The title is input agency leads contacts. Perfect. All right, so let's execute. So one of the cool things with N8N is we can test a lot, right? We can send this data over any other way that we want to, but we can test it in here and get the output and then map out the output as we're going through. So if I'm actually gonna, I realize that I am not. So let's actually upload that CSV file that we just downloaded and submit and see what happens. So now it went through, right? Because we can see that. We can see that it came through as data. So we're going to have to convert this over to JSON, to JSON, right? So because there's not a URL yet for it. So we'll add a node, and it is oh boy. Extract from file. Extract from file. Is it this one? Hey, that's it. Okay, perfect. So it's the extract from file node, right? And it turns it into CSV, or turns the CSV into a JSON output. And this is what we need so that we can map out what we're doing, right? So let's go back and let's map out the URL inside of our model. So let's do input, and then let's find the website. So the website is up here, and we're just going to map that out. So now what I like to do is just confirm when I have the data in, this is what it is. And then this is, it actually shows the website, right? Now that I think about it, that might be quite expensive for 100. Let's go read through this prompt. Don't want to send an HTTP request. Let's see. And I do like to do an example output. So let's do give example output with this request. All right, so this is what we're going to do. All right, so now we've extracted 100 items from this. Actually, let's make that CSV smaller because I'm kind of in testing mode now, and I don't want 100 leads to go through here and this run through 100 times. So let's actually just delete the. All right, that should be easier to use. All right, so let's actually test this through. I've got everything mapped out the way that it's going to go through. So let's execute the workflow, and we will be able to upload the form, submit it, and it should go right through. So you can always kind of see what's going on here. Awesome. So it actually did what we wanted it to do. It parsed the data that we said. It gave a text. It gave the actual data. It's yes, and Porter's lotion is active. So let's just double check that data is right. And it sure is. Let's go see. Hopefully there's a no. Nope, that's one. That's okay. Okay, so it looks like it went through okay. Now what we need to do is, and I'm thinking through this as we're going along, right? And thinking through this as we're doing this together, is making sure that that data has to get mapped back to the total data, right? So the email, right? So we probably want to we want to create a code that if it's a yes, that this is active, that it then gets the email and phone number and updates into the CRM or wherever we're going to start doing this from, right? So, I mean, and this even gives estimated monthly views, monthly page views, visits. I'm not sure how accurate this data is. Even the USD monthly sales estimated products sold. I'm not really sure how accurate this data is. It's pretty neat to see that data in here. Just looking through the data that comes through again from. I mean, we could even do like LinkedIn. I know there's LinkedIn stuff in here. And send them a message on LinkedIn too, right? So we could automate a LinkedIn. It says it has no enrichment, just the email. Okay. All right. So we have the data, we have the information. Now let's go ahead and put a filter on this. So if we're going to have to actually extract the text first. So let's add a code node. I usually run in JavaScript at the moment. Python just got added recently, but let's do the code node. All right, and this is where I use a lot of AI, right? So you can see the data that was previously inputted into it. So obviously message model, we need to extract that it says yes. And then we need to then find that website in our extract file node and then take that entire output and put it into yes. So I'm actually going to skip doing the filter because I'm not going to need it based off of the code. I'm only going to extract the yes. Okay, so what I like to do, and I'm just going to give you a trick. This is what I do. Maybe there's something easier, but I like to control all, select all the data inside of this, copy it, go over to my AI, hit V. I'm going to preface this and say I do have MCPs set up that can actually go through and do this, but we're not going to discuss that today. I want to try to keep this as simple as possible for everybody. So this is the total input data from extract from file. And then let's go and give the message response and message response. All right, so now I got to tell it what to do and why it needs to create the code. So take the output data from the LLM. If it says yes in the text, then search, then find that data website URL in the extract from file node and output the entire extract from file only if the website is yes and active. Write Java code to do this. Output the data in the same format as extract from file. Perfect. All right. And let's send that. So like I said, I just hit Control A, C, added the whole thing in there. And it'll start writing the code for me. Sometimes this works the first time, sometimes it doesn't, but we'll hit copy. And then we're going to go back to our code node and we're actually going to put this, like I said, extract active websites. Perfect. And let's execute. So let's see what it does. So there's an error, line 35. It's not a function. So let's take this. I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. It says the error. Sometimes I hit it right inside the N8N. This does work really well, by the way. The N8N assistant does work really well. So, and then just replace the code and see what happens. Looks like the constants at the top are not properly formatted, so no output. Wrong. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Because a lot of times the N8N AI, the beta there doesn't actually know what we're trying to do with that code node, whereas ChatGPT does remember what we're doing or wherever you're at. That error is because it wasn't actually an array in your node. Oh, perfect. All right. All right, so it gave me a new code. Let's go back to the coders out there. I know. And then we'll execute and see if there's an output. So I am not sure. And sometimes I find that the code node adds a lot of extra stuff that's actually not needed. So, I mean, this is 100% too much, but let's see what it does. No output. All right, we're getting there. Sometimes it takes a little time back and forth, but once that's in there, it's good. All right, there we go. It's starting to set some constants, which is what we need because we needed to get the extract data from one and we needed to get the LLM items from the other. Come on. All right, we're just working through this code node right now, trying to extract the data properly and making sure that it is an active website. Again, we could use an AI agent on this where it will search the web, grab the information, just output the ones that have active websites, and we could even have it summarize the website or summarize the product that they're doing. I'm keeping it simple right now, but there's a lot of things that we can add to this. I just like to keep it as simple as possible while we can. No output data available. Okay. We could also do like a merge node, merge the data together. Whoops. No, I don't want to share. All right, again, today we're building a lead gen workflow. We're going to be scrubbing some lead gens and accidentally hit the wrong button there. So we'll be scrubbing some lead gens, or scrubbing some databases and getting contact information and sending emails out. All right, thank you. Let's do this. So right now we're just making sure the websites are active, right? We want to make sure that if I don't want to email somebody where the website's not even actually active because I'm not sure how good this database is. I'm still getting nothing coming out, and I'm not sure why. Let me, and it's really all about, it's all about prompting. And so my prompting is not really good with that. A lot of the times I can just control A and copy that whole list and the whole entire N8N and it knows what I'm talking about. But sometimes I need to get really specific. And right now I have to get specific still. So when LLM response says yes, then you need to extract the data from here for the URLs. Then you need to search and extract only the URLs that say yes. Extract that data and output it in the same format. And I may actually just do a merge node and have the two merge together and add that data at the bottom. So let's oops. All right, let's see if it gives me the right stuff here. All right, that looks better. All right, so let's It's still not outputting. Okay. All right, so let's actually take a step back. And merge. I don't know if I want to merge or add. Let's ask ChatGPT. You know what? It's only going to output yeses because that's how I set it. So we need to extract it directly from there. Combine by index. All right, so let's just see if combine by index works. That would be great. All right, they gave me a new code. Let's see if the code works because that would be great. Oh, why don't I just have the LLM do it? It would be more than code. Let's have a check. You know what? The LLM actually could do it. The thing with that is if I use an LLM node for that output, it could be wrong, right? Because the AI only does as well as it can do. So to add a JavaScript node or add a code node in there that actually grabs that information does help make sure that there's less errors on the back end. So let's just see if we can try to get this. Let's see if this will end up working. I'd like to get this working. Okay, let's do the AI to output. All right, so I don't want the output to look like this. So we're gonna cancel that. I want the output to look like a JSON coming from the node with just a yes or a no at the bottom. So if we're doing an extract, so I want just one of these. So there we go. All right, let's try this. And then we'll need to fix this LLM. All right, so let's execute workflow. I'm not sure if you guys know about this trick, but if you go to the executions tab and you do the green and click on one of the executions you want, you can actually copy to editor so that data will copy. And then you can hit the execute step here and it will run that same data through. So I don't have to keep uploading that information because it's that data is pinned. If you see the pin here, it's actually pinned. We are re-executing the workflow. Did not get the output I wanted. There we go. All right, so it output it. Good. All right, so it output it the way we want. Good. All right. So now we can take that data. It says yes at the bottom and it included everything. So we can take that data and what do we want to do with it? Do we want if it's active now? So what we've done so far is we've created a form in 8.8n that we upload a file to that we got from a lead source. Hey Amy, I do both actually. So I started on the cloud. So the question was, you're building on 8.8n in the cloud. Is your own server or do you pay? So I actually have both set up right now. I do have set up for a cloud server. I use Hostinger, that Hostinger, that you pay monthly for, and I've uploaded it to. They have a really nice, easy way to do that in Hostinger. And I do that for like my workflows that are going to take a lot, but I actually started in the cloud. So that's going to n8n.io and just setting up an actual cloud server for it. I am transitioning everything over to my self-hosted, it's called, and inside hostinger.com. Like I said, it's pretty easy to add in. They have an N8N VPS that you can set up right away. Right here, it's all set up. It's pretty inexpensive. It's less expensive than what N8N is. So if you're running like a lot of workflows, self-hosting is the way to go. So you set up a VPS, a virtual private server. So right now I'm actually just building the model in the cloud version, but everything's moving over. You can take everything you've built and put it over to the self-hosted if you do have a cloud. It just takes setting up all your credentials again, getting all of your information but it's very easy to export import from your current workflows. Great question. Thanks. All right. So now what do we want to do with the data? So do we just want to email? So I think what I want to do is, since I use Go High Level, we want to create a contact, but I do want to actually add a tag in this because there's a reason why, because it will it will activate a workflow. So if we do a new tag here, let's do Fox. I'm just going to do Fox new. Okay, so let's do a new tab called Fox new tag, because we're going to add that tag into when we upload it. And there's a reason why, because when I upload it, then I want to trigger something else. I want some kind of a workflow to be triggered. Now we can send emails directly from here, but I think I'm going to create a high level email campaign that gets to it so that I can just do better. It does better. It'll do better tracking for me. We'll put it that way. So I'm probably just going to create or update a contact here and add a tag to that. Okay, so let's actually just take that. We're going to create or add a contact. Let's see. So we're going to have to parse this data better because the output that comes from that is tough. So we're actually just going to take this. We're going to have to do a code node. No, we can probably. Let's see what extract from JSON does. No, that's just going to do binary. We can transform. So we need data transformation. So we need to. Let's do this. Oh, you know what we can do is we can, this is going to be a simplified output. On the LLM, I have it set up as a simplified output. So it's doing this. So if we actually do, output format, JSON schema. Yeah, let's just try that. Let's see what happens. No, not from my schema, JSON object, medium. Okay, let's see what happens. So I know, so you can actually output it as JSON. Before I was just outputting it as text. So let's see what happens if I output as JSON. Because what I need to do is make it so that I can set it in JSON and it gets mapped out. Yeah, that's perfect. So now they output JSON. Let's see, website active. Yep. So all right, perfect. So we don't even need a code node in there. So it's perfectly output the way that we can use the data and parse the data in the next node. So if we go in and we look at this, we can see what the input data is going to look like, right? So this is all the input data. This is what's coming into high level, and we can easily map this out. Perfect. Yeah, that looks great. Okay. So now you map out. So now we can create or update a contact inside of Go High Level. I also want to see tag, right? So we also want to add a tag, and the tag is going to be Fox New. Okay. So the tag is going to be what triggers the next workflow. Okay. So this is just a basic workflow that we're setting up right now. The tag is actually going to trigger the workflow, and I'm going to have that workflow trigger inside of High Level instead of inside of N8N, because it'll be easier to keep track of. And setting the email, it'll be easier to set the emails. It'll be easier to A/B test emails, all that fun stuff. So now we're gonna create or update a contact. So we're gonna find the email, and it's possible that there's multiple people that we need to email, so we have to consider that. But right now, let's just do one email. So email, phone number, and then it's automatically going to add the Fox New tag. And I already have my credentials set up for High Level. If you need to set them up, you click on this, create new credential. You actually just log into your High Level account. It's pretty easy to do. So Let's do the full workflow and we'll go into high level and see if those contacts got created. And now I use high level, but I actually created my own high level account domain and use my own domain, cellophant.com. We use this for creator outreach and agency stuff as well. So I do all of it right through here, but this is high level. If it looks different, this is go high level. It's the same thing. All right, so let's run this workflow through. We're going to save. We're going to hit execute. We're going to upload the file. We're just going to do the 2 and submit it. We'll make this easier for uploading later, but now our model's thinking pretty simple. I do think I want to add in the ability to analyze the website and maybe grab some data points from it for later. But let's see what high level provides for us. All right, so now we're going to go look at this node, and the output is 2 items went to high level. And that information should be sent. And maybe we actually map out the data too, because you know what? It does a description, shop category, email, country. So we could actually map all this out. Their Facebook account, right? Their followers, anything else that comes from the enrichment data from where I'm at. So you can actually map all that out and put it right into a custom node that can be used later on for like emailing and link or for doing LinkedIn and adding them directly. But like I said, let's keep this simple and just add them in. So let's go back and check and see if we've actually added them into our contact list here. So it should show up right at the top here. You know what? We didn't get a name, but it certainly added those and it added the tag. So that's great. We can add any other tag we want. That's also available. But let's go look and see if they're names, because there has to be. I mean, that's Porter's Lotion. I did see some data where it gave the exact name. So let's add additional fields. We obviously want the name. We can do the address. Let's do name. Let's actually map out the name. So if you go in the input data and you select the input data and make sure expression is chose here like that, then that is how you get updated all of the nodes. So here's the name section. So we're going to add name. We're going to remove John Doe because we don't need John Dio. And it is going to, you can actually see it already from the data. This is what it's going to update. So it is creator update. So it should actually, if I execute this again, it should automatically just update the name that we just did. So let's go back over here. Let's refresh in here. And there you go. So it updated the name. So now I have this. I did add the tag, and I'm going to show you a neat trick inside of Go High Level. So let's do this. So we created a tag for it, and we're going to actually run our email outreach automation is going to come from an automation inside of High Level. So let's click on automation and let's go start an automation. We're starting these from scratch. We'll let you guys know that there are automations that are automatically set up, that are templated. So if we actually look at the templated ones, there's lead nurture. I mean, these things are already set up for you, right? So you can look and view the templates and see if they work. But for sake of teaching today, let's just create a workflow. We're going to start it from scratch. So let's add this. We're going to do great. So we name it. We'll do that. So the trigger is actually going to be when a tag is added. Okay, so we're gonna do a trigger, right? So this is what happens. So We're going to do a trigger. Oh, that's actually add. Sorry, we need triggers. So it actually is under contact changed or contact created. Um, so let's do add a trigger. Okay, we're going to do contact tag. I'm wondering if we should do contact created hashtag equal to what did I call it? Fox. So we're adding a trigger when the contact is created. Okay. And hashtag equal to Fox News. So it doesn't get duplicate. So the trigger is when that contact gets created. I'm going to actually save this and we're going to go delete those contacts because we're going to test this later. Or we will in a minute. So when that contact's created and it has that tag, it will activate this workflow. So what do we want this to do? Right. So if it's added, the neat thing with Go High Level 2 is that you can actually add a ton of different apps outside of it. You can install, there's a ton of apps in the marketplace. So you don't even really need N8N in it. You just have to somehow get the data into it. So it does allow you to do more than just that. All right. So let's just do email. So let's just plan to send an email. We could do voice messaging here. We could send a text message. We can do just a ton of different things. So the name, it's going to come from me, right? Or you could do a custom variable. If you want to do a custom variable, you click that button right there. Let me make this a little smaller so you can see. You can do a custom variable, so it can be a user. So your user can be your name, your full name in there. You can do a lot of different things. I'm just going to use my name right now. The from email, you can also do custom. So it could be from your user. So if it's one of your VAs or somebody else is doing this, you can use their email, or if it's an account email, that kind of thing. We're just going to use my email. Now we can create this email to do several different things. We can have it, the subject line be, it can come from templates. I'm actually going to make it a template. So if we go back, let's save this. Let's save this action. And I will just do a placeholder now. Save. And we're going to go back and let's just create a quick template on it. Even in the workflow, we could actually have it write out the email with using AI. I'd probably use the AI in N8N first and have it output like an email body or something based off of the information. But let's go create a template over here, an email template. It's in the marketing tab. So we go to marketing, email. Let's create a template for this. So again, they do have email marketing templates, right? So they have all these templates. It could just be maybe you're in a certain, they have ecom templates in here, review requests. A lot of these, you can save your own templates. Once you do this, you actually will do that, like marketing agency templates. But I want it to be pretty straightforward, basic. I don't want it to include all this riffraff because I want it to land right in their inbox, right? We don't want it to have a lot of extra stuff. So we want it to be very, we want it to be just very text-based for that reason. So let's just create a new template from scratch. We could do visual drag and drop. We could do plain text editor. We could do code editor. So the code editor would be nice for HTML style stuff, but in basic text. And then we could just have ChatGPT do it. But for sake of just time, let's just do basic text. So in the editor inside of Go High Level, it's pretty straightforward. Let's actually just have ChatGPT create an email. So you have to be very careful not to spam customers. One of the things is one of the caveats is if you are emailing business emails, not Gmails, but actual business emails, you can send emails directly to them and not have them subscribe as long as they're available. If you're emailing like customers that haven't signed up been and haven't given their permission, that is going to be very bad. You do not want to do that. So the what you want to do is try to create some kind of a lead gen outside of it. Maybe you're doing ads. Maybe you're giving away a coupon, and in order to sign up for the coupon, they need to add to your mailing list. If you're a brand, if you're an agency, so I'm just going to use this email basically. So I made something free you'll actually use as a subject. I had ChatGPT put it together, so I'm going to copy and paste this right over. And I'm not going to use the signature because I have my own signature, which includes the unsubscribe button. I've got the website in there. I know the website doing it. There are best practices for sending cold email outreach. I would suggest to learn a little bit about that. But we're just going to take that. We're going to copy and paste it over. We got to be sure that it's formatted properly. Make sure that it looks good. Make sure that I add my signature at the bottom. So inside of Go High Level, they have custom values you can add in there. So the custom value for me is going to be user signature, so that my signature shows up at the bottom. You'll actually see it in hyphens here. And then here, their first name, we want to make sure to choose. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Excuse me. It doesn't show up when I make it that small, but this is the custom value. So we want to make sure to choose them. Now it's going to be the contact, right? Because that's who we're emailing. And we're just going to choose their first name. So it will always show up contact, first name. I'll keep this quick. My team and I are working on with brands that sell in TikTok Shop. And one thing we kept seeing over and over was how much time gets wasted on simple task sellers shouldn't be doing manually. So we built a set of free tools, no login walls, no pitch, just useful stuff. Grab the free tools here. Just making sure that the email looks good. This is actually, I mean, not too bad. Maybe I'll send it out right now to the two that get added, and we'll just do the full workflow. If you like them and want to help tidying up your Amazon TikTok reply with Toolbox, I'll send over a few ideas tailored to your brand. You know what? Like this email it could be very high impactful, very good for emails. Boom, keep it simple. So we're going to name this something that we can keep track of that is easily A/B tested. So all of the data goes into it when we use this template. So we can see it later on when we're sending out these emails in mass, how it's performing, right? So I'm going to call this Fox New Free Tools. Because then that will remind me that I'm using the free tools as an outreach. Now, inside of my user signature, there is an unsubscribe button. You want to make sure to add an unsubscribe button. Make sure that you're just being professional and following all the email rules that you are supposed to follow. Okay, so we just created that, kept it simple. It's just showing this. Let's make this blue. Let's make it a little more blue. All right, excellent. So save template. So now we've saved the template that we're actually going to send. Let's go back. Actually, let's go into our contact list and delete those two contacts because I am going to email them now. If you are Porter's Lotion or Stream Point Acupuncture, you are getting an email from me right now. There are other things to consider with emails. You want to make sure to warm up your email list. You want to make sure to warm up your email domain. If you don't know what that means, really just Google what it means. Make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing to warm that stuff up. All right, let's make sure those are deleted. Now we're going to go back and all right, they are gone. So now we're going to go back to our automations and we're going to start this, or we're going to turn on this automation. We're going to make sure the snippet is there. Go back to our automation. So we're going to email them and we're going to choose that. We're going to make the subject this. And then I do want to rename this. I like to rename as much as I can. So I know what's going on. All right, so this is going to trigger when a new contact comes in. There are some settings you want to set up: allow reentry, allow sticky. I like to keep those. You can send the sender details and set those in place, and toggle this on if you want the conversations that this workflow will interact with to be marked as read. Oh, that's great. That's a good addition. So I can click on the mark as read button because inside of my conversations tab here, if I'm sending an email, it adds it to the conversations tab and go high level automatically, but I can make it red so that it doesn't show up in my conversations tab until they respond. So let's actually turn that on. All right, so let's go through our workflow so that we get an update. So I am generating leads through my top of funnel leads for cold email. I am extracting them out. I'm using an LLM to look at the website and make sure it's active. I could probably add in there a brief snippet of that, or like an email body, or a couple of different things, and then output back to high level. I can have that output in high level as a custom value. I can also in here add inside of Go High Level. I can actually add in a AI. So you can it costs money, which is why I use it inside of N8N more so than out here. But you can add external models and you can have it do certain things, right? So you can prompt it to say, review this client's or this website and put together an outreach, the initial outreach for it based off the information. Right. So I could 100% do that and add this directly into the workflow. Since this is a custom action, it does charge per flow, which is fine. I could even do, change the model to a less expensive model that we talked about before. You can enable chat history, which is nice because if that person is inside of the workflow and they respond, that this chat history will be saved inside of it for them. So it can keep track of what's going on with that conversation. So it'll draw insights from previous GPT actions executed in the contact, leading to more relevant personalized messages, right? So it can take that information. Right now, we're just going to leave that out. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I like adding it in sometimes, but it's all about testing, right? So seeing what works, what doesn't work. So now we're sending an email, but I want to probably add them to an opportunity workflow too. So I would create or update an opportunity. and choose the pipeline. I would create a pipeline for this for like Fox New website leads. Right now, I'm just going to leave that blank. But what that would do then is show me who's responded. It can move them through the pipeline automatically with automations. Show me who's responded, what the conversations were, where they're at, have they set it up, how my team can handle the leads coming in. Do they need another email sent automatically? So there are a lot of automations you can do right and go high level that don't even require N8N, right? So right now we're just going to keep it simple. I'm not going to add that. I'm just going to send that email. And I do like to add tags onto it. So add a tag onto the end of it so that everybody knows I already sent that email. So let's just create a new tag here. Fox News sent, save action, add the tag. And then you can, do notifications inside, send internal notifications. You can send email notifications to your team. You can send it directly inside of here saying that they sent it. If you're managing a team doing outreach, you can do it that way. There are just a lot of opportunities that you can do in here, trying to keep this workflow as simple as possible for everybody to understand. But so we're just going to add the text. So we're going to hit save. So we're going to publish this. Actually, I like to test the workflow. Let's just choose a contact. I do like to test it, see what it looks like with an email coming through, making sure that they get tagged properly. This actually may not get sent because I said new contacts, not new tag. So let's go look. Oh, it went through. Good. My user signature did not go through. Let me make sure. Just making sure my signature's on. So it should have gone through. Why did my signature not go through? So we're just checking signature. Did I not? Oh, we got to go to the snippet. So this is a good place to A/B test, right? Where you have different snippets set up. I usually set these up in folders. What did I save that snippet as? Let's duplicate this. Whoops. If you've ever had an appointment set up with me, you will see like my reminder workflow setups. I do that. It helped a ton for people showing up to just meetings, right? Or just showing up for simple things by setting up the workflows. Fox New free tools. Oh, it's set up as a template, not a snippet. That's why. So we have to go to email templates. So we're going to go change or make sure that this shows my user email signature. I don't know why. Oh, it's not going to show up because it was just a test email. Yeah, that's why. Okay. No, it should have shown up. Well, okay. Oh, did I not assign it as a user? That's why. I didn't assign myself to a user to these contacts. So when in my N8N workflow, I'll actually want to assign a user to it. Let's actually just do that here. So let's add assign. Assign a user. Let's choose me. Great. Save. Now it should. Should go through. Okay, so we are going to save that. We're just going to go through and get this. All right, so let's publish this. We're going to save it, publish it, and let's check the workflow. We'll see what happens. So I had those 2 contacts in there, and let's execute from the beginning here, and then we'll be finished for today. So thanks for joining. If you want more, go ahead to zonflip.com/free tools and sign the email list. I do send out emails when I go live. Follow us. All right, so we're getting it started. It's going through. You'll actually see it moving through. So this gave me an error for the phone number this time, and it did not before because it has the +1. Hmm. I already did this. I just got an error. Bad request. Please check your parameters. Item 1. Pass at least one of number email query. Well, I'm passing all of those. All right. Well, it sent one through. It looks like it didn't send the other one through. At least one of the font. It's all there. Oh, it's the second one. Okay, so what? Oh, I mapped out to 0. See this where I put 0 right here? It's only mapping out the first one. So I need to make it so that it outputs all of them. It goes through each one of them. So this is only outputting one. I need to Google how to do that real quick. I think it's going to be set up as item. I think I changed this to item. I don't do that 0. Yep. All right, so let's go look and see what happened with that. So we emailed one through. See, the tags are there. Fox News. Looks like the email went through. It did have the email signature. Like I said, there just wasn't a user attached, and it sent the email right through. So now there we go. So it sent that email template. We can actually go back to we can create like campaigns where we add a whole bunch to them and we can see how they do. But we can look and see that this email was delivered. And so if we're using this template, you can actually go back into the template and see what's delivered. So there you go. Yeah, let's pull it up. Yeah, so yeah, that's how you do the workflows. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining. I do go live regularly, so follow. We do go through this. I try to get through as many workflows as we can. Sometimes we get held up with certain workflows, but feel free to join on the next stream.